Yeah, I got some things to say about Little Brother. They're underground legends. They were in there with the slum villages, with the Tribe Called Quest.
De La, D'Angelo, Erykah Badu, they're part of that family tree.
Their DNA is still through the game in a lot of ways. I mean, you can never take that for granted.
To say I'm a Little Brother fan would be an understatement.
The legacy of Little Brother were that they were the bridge for hip-hop into where we are at now.
Maybe we can go out.
I don't care what anybody says, that's one of the best verses. The best verses ever.
Seeing such a phenomenal group dissipate, it was hard to watch.
It's a bigger picture, it's a bigger goal that I got in my mind that I'm trying to see come to life. So I don't let it stop me because I got that love in my heart.
You know, if people knew the real story, you know what I'm saying? If people knew the real story, you know, they if only they knew. So I just responded back, well, nigga, either tell your side of the story or shut the fuck up talking about it.
It became a mess. And I was just like, dog, all I wanted was my favorite rap group to get back together.
After that show, I come over to Tate House, and he just looked at me and said, hey man, depending on how you feel, I think we can talk about another album. And I said, let's talk about it.
This is the first time we've been in a creative space together in over a fucking decade. I gotta learn this guy again. He's gotta learn me. Who am I? I think first and foremost, I'm just an artist. For as long as I can remember, I always felt most at ease creating something. Being a kid, it was hard for me, I think, to relate to other kids. When I would create something, when I would just go away by myself and either write or like listen to music, that was where I always felt most comfortable. That just kind of gave space for me to say the things and express the things that I couldn't really find the words for otherwise.
What's your name?
Oh, who am I? Shit. I didn't know if you meant, like, what the fuck? I thought you was all existential.
I'm rapper Big Pooh, AKA Thomas Jones. I ain't giving you my whole name. It's on Wikipedia. Thomas Lewis Jones III. That's who I am.
Okay, who am I? I'm Phonte Coleman, North Carolina born and raised. I'm originally from Robeson County, North Carolina. I was born in Lumberton and was raised in a small town called Red Springs, North Carolina. Small town. Everybody knew everybody. Both my parents were very young. My mother was 15, my dad was 17. And so I kind of became like, community baby in a lot of ways, you know what I mean?
Most everybody in the community loved him because he was friendly and he would play. He was active and smart and he loved to write.
He was somewhat of a loner, like he was quiet except when he was doing his music. He was an amazing student, a jokester.
Do you want money from college? Do you want a good education? Well, you come to the Army. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Private Corporal J.T. Harris III.
In second grade, he was writing stories, not just lines. You would be surprised at some of the things that he wrote about.
My grandparents' house was definitely in a lot of ways, it was, if not the party house, it was the community house. A lot of music, a lot of people, a lot of singing. My mother was a singer. My grandfather, he would sing as well. He was big in the lyrics. Like he would listen to songs. Listen to that song, boy. She sang once, twice, 3 times a lady. Boy, you need to hear what she's listen.
Everybody in the Coleman family is an entertainer. But even in a family of entertainers, yes, he was always singing and dancing and acting and doing the, the church plays and church speeches and all of that kind of stuff that like a small town, big time family like the Colemans would do.
I As a child, I have gone to church all my life.
Church was mandatory. Church was like my first, stage.
When you come from a small town where your family is like a sizable part of the population, you're related to everybody, where people turn the spotlight on you, on a little kid in a church and like treat you like a little celebrity. Like I see Phonte's confidence coming in part from the fact that he was from a town where he was expected to do something.
I knew that what I saw in Phonte and what other people saw in him, that if I stayed in Red Springs, that he would only just fly. Like, you know, I knew if I exposed him to more that he would really soar. And so one Saturday, I had 23 whole dollars in my pocket, and I put my babies in the car, and I came to Greensboro.
Well, now, someone said before he left here, one of the deacons at the church said, he's gonna do things.
I'm originally from Northern Virginia, Alexandria, went to high school in Reston. A lot of people get that confused. They think I'm from North Carolina, but I'm Virginia born and raised. Home life was single mother, 3 kids. I'm the middle child. Mom worked a lot. 2 jobs at a time. You know, we ain't have it all, but we had enough.
Thomas was a very obedient child. He was very quiet. He was always writing, helping his sister with homework, trying to do everything the right way. He wanted to make sure he was a good son.
Your single mother, she ain't got a lot of patience.
I would like to say I was pretty tough because I was working, trying to make sure my children had what they needed. Thomas know it's consequences to everything you do, good and bad.
My brother's always in some shit. So he's getting attention, the wrong type of attention. And then I had a little sister. She was the only girl, 8 years younger. Of course she got mad attention. And then it was like, okay, then it's you, nigga. Like, figure it out.
He was a quiet guy, shy. Growing up, he was big into writing poems, and that's what he did all the time.
I love to write. Just like listening to music, that was me being able to travel without going anywhere. And that's what it did for me. It was really the 90s for me, like the early 90s. That's when I was becoming a teenager, and Nas really stuck out. Ice Cube really stuck out. Slick Rick stuck out. Cool G Rap stuck out, because those guys were storytellers, and that's what I was interested in. I never thought my writing would do anything for me in the form of a career. Writing was just something I did because I loved to do it. I didn't see it as a career for me until I got to college.
We were all prepared for him to go to Old Dominion, and my mother and I, we were going to drive him down. He had changed churches with his best friend, Vincent.
One of the deacons, or several of the deacons, were North Carolina Central alumni.
And he actually had a scholarship at Central. Now, I didn't know at the time it was a biology scholarship, but he had one. So I had to go tell my mom, yo, I ain't going to Old Dominion. I'm going to this school in Durham, North Carolina, called North Carolina Central. It's a historically black college and university. No, I don't know what it looks like. No, I don't know what this city's like, but it's free.
He didn't tell me until the night before we supposed to leave for Old Dominion. So I was really a little upset about that, because he thought I would be upset, so he didn't tell me till it was time to go.
It all started back in 99 when times was hard. North Carolina Central, but we called it the yard. Cause niggas wasn't trying to study abroad. They was trying to study abroad, or 2 or 3 up in the dorms. Met my nigga Sean Don, then I started to ponder. Fuck this, I'ma quit the football team tomorrow. Did shows around town, and word got around that Battle and Tank was like yelling spick in Tijuana. Built my rep.
The dorm that we stayed in, Chili Hall, the RA, my man Joe Drama, he lived like right down the hall. Joe Drama used to have people in his room all the time, listening to music, talking about music, whatever. And Phonte comes in one day. I got this rhyme I wrote for English class, yo. I wanna spit that joint. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I remember to this day, it's called No Apologies. And when he finished, I was like, nigga, you wrote that? That's crazy. Like, I was always the music aficionado in my crew. When I got around Tay, I was like, I don't know shit. I was like, I want to know what he knows. And that was kind of the beginning of our relationship.
We're all like in the commons area of the dorm, and I see this dude with a Source magazine, you know what I mean? And, you know, Source, it was like, you know, the holy grail kind of at that time. Hey man, let me see that joint, let me see that, you know what I mean? He's like, all right. And so he's going through the mag, and I see we're liking the same shit. Like, I'm on, like, yo, Most Def, Black on Both Sides. He like, oh, you know about that? I'm like, hell yeah, nigga, I know about this. We were on a lot of the same things, and we laughed at some of the same shit, too. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I meet Ninth. I think I saw him that day, and I don't think we saw each other again for months. By this time, I was living in the new dorm. This is the new residence, so, you know, niggas, we done moved up and shit. So, he shows up, and he's like, yo, what up, man? I'm like, what up? He's like, yo, I got some shit I want to play for you. So I'm thinking it's some new exclusive, a new whatever, and he puts it in, he plays beats. I'm like, yo, this shit dope, who this? And he's like, this me. I was like, word? I said, yo, would you mind if I rhyme on this? He was like, you want to rap on this? I'm like, yeah, nigga, like, this shit go.
My melanin serves as proof of my indelible urge to marry ink and manuscripts, create incredible words. I'm a federal felon with verbs, speaking for those who frequently talk but seldom get heard.
And we did Paper Lines in '99, and that was the first time Ninth and I made records together. That was our first record. The beats that he was making, they just sounded unlike anything else that was out, because he wasn't just sampling soulful records. He was sampling all kinds of records and making them soulful. And I just thought that was amazing. It had the feel, it had the samples he was chopping up, the way he would chop them. His beats inspired me to write. I remember us being in the dorm one time, and he had it was an Afu Ra poster, and his album Body of the Life Force was coming out. And at the bottom, it said executive producer, DJ Premier. And he had it up in his room, and I remember him looking at it, he was like, yo, he's like, that's what I want to be. And I was like, yo, bro, you can do that.
To get this show started, I am Ninth, one of the Justice League.
Ninth also had relationships with people on NC State campus. And so Ninth just combined the people he knew from Central with the people he knew from Raleigh. And that is what became the Justice League. The members of the Justice League are myself, Phonte, Ninth Wonder, Sean Don, Median, Edgar Allan Flo, Legacy, Cesar Comanche, Sean Boog, Crisis,
Son of Yorel, Mike Burv, Eccentric, DJ Flash, and Joe Scudder was never officially a part of the league, but he was there for all of it.
My first impression of Pooh and Tay was Tay seemed a little more grown up. He was more on a mission, and Pooh was kind of like where I was in life, which was figuring stuff out. The thing is, when I met Ninth, he plays the beats, right? That blows my fucking mind. And then he plays records. That blows my fucking mind. And then he goes, I'm gonna take you to the studio. And my only idea of a studio is, you know, the big boards and all that stuff. So we go to the studio, which was Missy Ann. We pull up in this apartment complex, which is funny because I bought weed out of that same apartment complex. And we walk up, dude, they open the door. It is a 2-bedroom apartment. One side has the futon or whatever where Comanche sleeps, and the other side is the studio. There was a regular ass mic, like the Bob Barker mic with the fucking, just the sock condom on it. And this is what they're recording on.
We had been doing records here and there, just kind of in different configurations. So the original first configuration was Gimme. That was me, Pooh, and Sean Don. We were a group called Gimme.
Million the stacks, distributes the dats, dismember the whack with my, See how dope he was? Like, this is early, Phonte.
It's a very rare magic that I believe our collective had together because no one was thinking about being rich and no one was caring about what anybody else thought about the music. It was just the virginal love for making these songs.
We was just kids having fun on campus and just wanting to rap. That was it. It was pure. It was like, man, it was just a great moment.
So the summer comes, everyone goes home. Sean Don didn't end up coming back to school. He stayed in New York. And so Phonte and I had a conversation, and Phonte told me, he was like, yo, man, so Sean Don ain't coming back. You know, I'm still making music, and
I don't really see us like being a duo on some Outkast shit. Like, I don't think that's gonna work. I don't know if that works.
I don't like feeling like the weak link. I don't like feeling like I'm inadequate. I don't like feeling like I'm not as good as everybody else at something. And that right there for me was a moment where I was like, okay, if I'm gonna do this, if I wanna do this with them, I gotta get on my shit. Cause I don't wanna be called Phonte and Pooh no more.
So one night we were at Comanche's and Knife had a beat. He was like, yo man, I wanna get, you and Median on this joint. I was like, all right, bet. Median didn't show. So I'm like, all right, well, shit, me and Pooh rock this shit.
I said, all right. I was anxious to show my improvement anyway. We do the record.
I was hearing Pooh, I was like, oh shit. I could tell he started to gain his confidence, you know what I mean? And you could just hear it in him.
We go out to the car. That was the ultimate test. Go out to the car. We running the record.
Take on speaker losses tweaking, cause the way we be rocking it when joints is finished. At the speed we be moving, we could never be diminished. With my energy replenished, write a rhyme with puns and all my similes intended. Speed out until I finish up.
And we all looking at each other like, oh shit. I think we got something here. Let's record a couple more songs. Let's see if we really got something. We started recording more songs, and the next thing you know, it was like,
this is it. We got something. Shortly after that, me and Ninth were sitting down. We were at my crib one day, and we were trying to come up with names, and we wrote down a bunch of names on a piece of paper, and I just remember the thought was, we were looking at our contemporaries, and it was like, okay, if it was gonna be a show and it was the Roots, Blackalicious, Black Star, Common, you know what I'm saying, Most Def, and who? Finally, I think we wrote down Little Brother. And I remember me and I just kind of looking at it. It was like, Little Brother. The Roots, Common, Black Star, Blackalicious, Little Brother. Yeah, that works.
The Roots were doing a near monsoon silk-drenched show at Duke University. And we were debating whether to go on or not go on. And we went on. I knew that they had been out there in the rain for like 3 to 4 hours, just so they could hold a good spot. That inspired me to actually go to the front of the stage to shake everyone's hands individually, like I was running for president. Thank you, I really appreciate that, thank you. And as I went down the line, someone put a clear plastic CD case in my hand.
Check this, you know, this is my group. I give him a CD.
And I was like, yeah. I said, well, I've heard of someone. Yeah, they were talking about it on the boards. By saying they were talking about it on the boards, quickly revealed to me that, oh, this person is an Okayplayer community person, which is way different than just being a fan of the Roots.
Okayplayer at the time was like the Roots website, but they have this place, this forum where you can go on and find your tribe.
What Black Twitter is now, that's what Okayplayer was then. It was just this creative haven, and we would just make things and just, you know, put them up.
We could be on Okayplayer all day. And it changed everything, man. It changed how people interacted with music, changed how people searched for music, it changed how people talked about music. And it all stems from what happened with the Telecom Act in 1996, right? Back in the days, there were more independent radio stations all over the place. And when you have a lot more independent radio stations, what that means is that they can cater directly to their audience. Once that thing was signed, it was a wrap. All the regulation that they had that kept the barbarians at the gate, all bets were off. So if you had enough money, you could just buy up every station in every region and just make them an affiliate station where everything became uniform. So songs that were getting played on the radio in 95 and 96 were not getting played on the radio in 97 and 98. Songs that sound a certain way that would get you on the radio in 96, just 6 months later, you're relegated to being the underground and putting out white labels. It started the hip hop apartheid, I call it. Two rap industries separate and unequal. And Lil Brother is one of the groups that a lot of people first discovered in that 2002, 2003 sweet spot, right when everybody's getting into the new era of underground rap.
I was in my dressing room, eating dinner, and I was staring at it, and it just said Little Brother. Yeah, he'll probably ask me on the boards what I thought about it, and I don't want to like bullshit him. All right, let me listen to this. And I put it in.
Yeah, yo, Tay, man. Let me put you on.
I kept it on rotate, like even when I'm in my sleep, I didn't turn down the bottom. I guess I, became a fan because it played for like 12 hours in a row until it was time for bus call at 3 p.m. I thought about it. I know I made a post about it, like, yo, I really like this joint on OK. But then I felt like, oh man, then if I say I like them, then what about the other 92 billion joints you didn't listen to? But I was just like, oh man, this is too good.
To hear a group like Little Brother, it was something that just resonated with me like instantly. It didn't matter where they were from, it didn't matter who they were, but those voices and the songs and how the songs left you feeling, I want to know where this is going.
ID calls me and he's just like, yo man, I'm an ABB and I fuck with your shit. I don't know this guy from anywhere.
Never heard of him.
ABB was a label started by Benny B. I had a interesting relationship with Benny B, and he said, I trust you to come in and put out a few records over here. And that's all I needed to hear. It was like, let's try to do a single with whatever you say.
And I was like, a single? Like, nigga, we got an album, though. What the fuck you talking about?
ABB had never gone out and developed an act, signed an artist to do an album. ABB only did 12-inch singles. But when you start hearing more music, you're like, there's a lot more than a single here.
We was talking about pressing up CDs through disc makers and selling them off the trunk of Phonte's car.
I was like, man, I'll just get a credit card and fuck it.
That's what we was thinking about doing. So now to go from that to this label regardless of the size, regardless of where they at, regardless if I ever heard of them or not. But this label thinks enough of what we're doing to want to invest in what we're doing. Shit, all right. Let's do it.
I was driving home one day and Ted called me and he's like, hey man, you know, I'm just looking at this contract, man, and if you say, you know, we should do this, I'm gonna do it, but I'm just a little concerned about a couple things. And I'm like, oh shit, well, yeah, let me fix that for you. Like, what's up? He's like, well, you know, I mean, first off, you know, the contract's for 7 albums. He's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, yeah, don't sign that contract. That's definitely not in the terms I dictated to Ben of what I wanted to do. And I said, and to give yourself time, tell Ben, there's no way I'm gonna sign a deal for more records than years you've been in business. I to this day, I have no idea how heinous that contract is, but Benny B was a jerk.
I remember ID called me. He said, yo, hear that? Hear that? Opening up your first CD, man. I'm cracking the plastic on. I was like, what? I'm like, how it look? He's like, yo, man, it looks beautiful. And I just remember like opening it up and looking at it and like, wow. Like, me and my boys made this shit. It went from words on a pad to waves on a computer screen to now this is something that I'm holding in my hand. It very much is like holding a child. The same amount of care and also the same amount of fear, you know what I mean? Because it's like, now I have to let this child out into the world.
The source for most of the 1990s and even into the 2000s was the most important organ of hip-hop journalism. The source developed this rating system for records and albums, the 5-mic system. And those 5 mics were coveted by artists.
Having 4 mics in the source was like, holy shit. And then having the hip hop quotable, I was like, damn. I mean, I grew up reading all this shit.
I had to ask them about 7 times, wait, how did you guys make this record? They were like, in our bedroom, you know, on our computer. No. How the record that I listened to, how did y'all make that? Like, what studio y'all use? He said, nah, dog, you know, you use Fruity Loops and then da-da-da-da-da-da. It was explained to me, like, what Friendster was to social media, that's what Fruity Loops was to the modern day era of beat making. And Knife pioneered it.
Okay, this is something, you know what I mean? Because I'm starting to meet my heroes and like, you know, going to Pete Rock's crib and sleeping on the floor of his basement, you know what I mean? And seeing his plaques and him playing us beats straight out the SP and to get the respect from the Petes and the Preems and, you know, the De La's and Dilla holding the listening and pointing to it and Slum Village was like, for me, that was it. There's nothing like it. Questlove and Pete Rock, artists that I grew up listening to, that I still listen to, raving about what we've done. That meant something. Looking back on it now, I don't really think it was a lot of time to process it or really feel it, because we were trying to figure everything out. How do we keep this going?
I quit ABB in like the end of April 2003. And it was always kind of inferred to me if I ever wanted to work at Hyro, they would love to have me there. And we started talking because they were just finishing up the mixing and mastering of the Full Circle album. And it's like, hey, we're gonna go on tour. He kind of loosely threw that out there. I'm like, what's up? Did Little Brother get on there? He's like, that's what I'm thinking. That would be dope, right? And I'm like, that would be real dope.
The Hyro tour was big because that put them on the map to go touring, because Hyro tours, that's what they do. Yeah, so DJ, I done drove, I sold the merch, nigga, I managed, I did all that shit.
Right before the Hyro tour happens, this is when Knife gets the J call.
I think he called me before, like, yo, man, like, I'm about to meet Hove in 2 days. So call up and just see what the temperature is up there and all that stuff. So I went out and I gave Hove my message. He's like, yo, man, Ninth One just gonna play you some beats? He's like, yeah, he is. I said, yo, man, it's so good in there. And that's when I really had Hove's ear, like, okay. He came highly recommended. I remember he told me that not only was he able to give him a beat, but then Beyonce wanted a beat too for the Destiny's Child album. And so he was just totally like,
obviously, nigga go do that, right? Like, this Jay-Z.
If you study hip hop, you know that if your producer's in a group, if your producer's worth a damn, they're gonna go on to do other things. You know what I'm saying? Preem was Preem outside of that, but he had Gangsta. Dre was Dre, but he started in NWA, you know what I mean? So you always know that if you have a producer, they're gonna go on to do greater things, and you encourage that.
So we was like, all right, this is what we gonna do. By show 10, we in Chapel Hill, you DJ that show, and then basically you just pick up and do the last 35 days on the tour. That was the arrangement. This fucking tour, right? The documentary Backstage that came out. I see tour as that.
Biggest security problem right now is keeping the artists on the tour with us from pulling all the girls backstage.
Now I went that. We're on an RV with a pimp, a real pimp, a guy named Late Night Billy, an artist named Z-Man, an artist named Encore, and ID. We didn't know any of these people when this tour started. I had to learn to sleep sitting up. We're sharing one hotel room, me, Tay, and Doe, and every night we switch in between who got a bed versus who got a cot. But it was an experience I'll never forget.
We did that first run, I think like 10, 11 days or whatever. And we came back to Carborough. We're in Chapel Hill.
Me, Tay, and Doe got together, had a conversation, and was like, Ninth can't come out here. He's not built for what this experience is.
He wasn't really much of a people person. He liked having people around him, but he was really only comfortable being surrounded by people who looked up to him. And by the end of that 10-day run, we already had a bond and a kind of chemistry. And we just knew that Ninth would have fucked that up.
So we just told him, he's like, look, man, we know you doing the J thing and all that, man. Just keep doing that. You ain't got to worry about coming out here. And surprisingly, he was just like, okay. Which said to me, like, oh shit, he didn't want to be out here in the first place.
It was tough on tour, like, cause you on tour and Ninth becomes like the celebrity of the group because he's working with Jay-Z, right? Or whatever. And he's on, because he's all on the message boards. Everything's Okayplayer and The Lawn. And I think, so people are like, yeah, but where's Ninth at? And they're calling his name out while he performing. I'm talking about niggas is getting sweaty. Like, yo, you don't see me busting my ass out here for y'all trying to raise the level of this show up? This is all you keep asking me about? It's the human. Some human shit. Tay took it the hardest.
It is really hard. I think it would be hard for any human being, that you done sweated, cried, and bled with for 6 weeks straight. That's just a bond that, unless you was there, you're not gonna have. And to now come back home and then this other person is like, yeah, we're little brother. And it's like, nigga, no the fuck we not. We little brother.
In the minstrel shows of the late 1800s, white and black performers would blacken their faces with cork and perform as stereotypical, grossly exaggerated racist caricatures of black culture. Fast forward 200 years and black people are still performing in these shows, celebrating senseless materialism, excessive violence, and blatant misogyny. Only today they aren't known as minstrels, they're now known as rap stars. Chicken and watermelon have been replaced with rims and jewelry, turning hip-hop into one big modern-day minstrel show. Such is the central idea behind Little Brother's highly anticipated and wildly imaginative sophomore album, The Minstrel Show. We were working on the Minstrel Show before we signed. We wanted to sign with Jive. Chris Lighty was at Jive, and we had the meeting. And obviously, we knew who Chris Lighty was and what he's done. Plus, Jive had Tribe, the Clips. They had a history of putting out hip hop. But because we were signed to ABB, ultimately, it was Benny's choice. Even though we were taking these meetings, Benny chose Atlantic because Atlantic allowed him to maintain his rights to the listening.
ABB was bad. All bad business. But they weren't bad people, just bad business. And some bad intentions here and there. But
So, we didn't really have much of a say in terms of what label we went to.
Even still, signing to Atlantic, it was still a major label. So it was like, okay, here we go.
We come to welcome you to everything there is to know. I don't know. We just for having fun.
Told him, was like, yo, this coming fast, because we're about done.
Oh, I thought it was genius. The skits, the interludes, like, I knew exactly what they were referring to. You know, the state of hip hop at the time, and what was selling, and what was valued, and what wasn't. And, you know, there were certain things that were happening at the time that it was straight up minstrelsy, and it was being rewarded.
By then, we knew most of those artists were renting jewelry, renting cars, renting their like the models and things in the videos and stuff. Commercial rap was like really mainstream at that point, and it wasn't necessarily the image that reflected all of us from the Black community. I think they had a really great A&R. I cannot remember his name. I think he understood the vision.
I hadn't dealt with artists as sophisticated, as funny, and as intelligent as them. Sonically, the label was very receptive. There was a marketing challenge.
You have us, a group that was discovered, for better or worse, via the internet. Their internet department had like 2 people in it. That's basically what a label is now, but in 2004, it wasn't.
Because social media was not a thing yet, you just had to rely on radio, video. Things were more traditional then.
For a label to say we need a single, I mean, the singles at that time, it was, you know, it was the snap stuff was going up. It was kind of ringtone kind of records, you know what I'm saying, that were going off at the time. And, you know, those records were fine, they were cool, but me and Pooh trying to make a record to compete with that or to fit into that, like, we would look like fucking idiots. When we would go out on tour, me and Pooh would just open the show with Loving It, and that shit would go off.
So gutter, little brother, and all across the world, the fly ladies and girls tell me they loving it.
And I don't know if it would go off because the song was good or because it was just the first thing that we did. You know what I'm saying? But that was the one that Atlantic chose as the single.
Loving It, first single. I'm looking at this shit, I'm trying to figure out, like, it makes me have a new respect for porn stars, because, I mean, I consider myself to be, I don't mean to brag. I consider myself to be a pretty free-willing guy, but I don't think I could perform under these circumstances. I'd have to take pills, like Viagra or something. How does that work, B? Don't tell us about it.
I'm blessed to be in this position, man, and hopefully do a lot for us as far as the video is concerned.
You want to talk a little about the concept?
Trying to kill the stereotypes. Everybody want to put us in a box, so we backpack, conscious, whatever, But our music is for everybody. It's just our side, it's how we choose to tell it.
We just went on and, we made the parallel between those minstrel shows and rap music today.
And that's what it is right now. Hip-hop looks like one big don't be a menace while drinking your juice in the hood. You got a bunch of super thugs, a bunch of super drug dealers.
That's such a controversial conversation to have. It's about race, right? And their cover was of actual minstrel figures, which was themselves. And you are trying to get this so-called backpack independent group on BET.
And now y'all catching a lot of flack for it though, seem like, man. So, BET, Bamboozled Entertainment, they didn't want to play your video. I heard they didn't want to play your video because it was too intelligent. That was the rumor on the internet. Is there any truth to that?
I don't know, man. You gotta call up BET and ask them, man. I don't work there, so I don't know their reason.
So they never gave you a reason? They was just like,
I don't work there. I don't know. I don't talk to them. You know what I'm saying? I don't know them personally, so I don't know.
That's a good political answer. Dance around Bamboozled.
That's a real answer. You know what I'm saying? That's as real as it's gonna get. You know what I'm saying?
That's what it is. Well, let's introduce them to Little Brother, man. Let's play some music off that album, The Minstrel Show.
I see why they were arguing in here. Y'all good. Fuck this shit. We're gonna find out what scandal.
I want to know. Come on, BET say y'all to a challenge. That's crazy.
I think the label was nervous.
The fear was that it might go over some people's heads and be taken literally. I remember a rapper, I won't say his name, prominent rapper at the time on our label, Platinum. He pulled me aside, was like, man, what's up with that Minstrel Show shit? That's like straight disrespectful. And I'm like, you think we would put out an album of a real minstrel? Like, no, it's satire.
I think other artists were kind of taken aback, but the fans we had fucking loved it.
You know what it is, Minstrel Show. It's a revolution in hip-hop.
No doubt.
Like
It was one of the moments where I didn't know what to think at the time.
I don't know, man. I don't know, bro. Does Little Brother even stand a fucking chance in today's current rap climate? Let's discuss that. Do you stand a fucking chance? Is us filming these DVDs and shit even matter? Us, just mixing and mastering all this shit doesn't matter. Will you motherfuckers buy this album? I don't know. We'll see.
The day the Minstrel Show came out, I think it was raining, and we were walking through the label, and it was like, it felt dark and ominous, and there was no celebratory vibes. It's like foreshadowing. It's like, yo, this don't feel right. And I just remember thinking, like, this is a fucking record label. Why ain't y'all playing no fucking music? There was nothing to suggest that we'd even put a record out, you know what I mean? And I just remember feeling like, damn, like, is that what this is? To be signed to a major label, is this it?
There were a bunch of people at the label that really cared and believed, but it was an uphill battle. It was, what was hitting at that moment was Southern gangster hip hop, and I don't want to say they got lost in the sauce, but big record labels, you chase the hits, man, and they didn't have one. They had great music. They had a great body of work. They didn't have a hit.
What ended up happening with that album, shit, it landed like somebody jumped off the porch with cement boots on. Like, hell, fuck that shit. I think what it did was it let me know, okay, this thing ain't gonna go like I thought it was gonna go. We're not gonna be out of here like I thought we were gonna be. This is gonna take a lot more work. So at that point, I was like, okay, we got more work to do. Fuck it, let's go to work.
LB, we made our bones on stage. We had to go overseas to do some shows. Atlantic wanted us to do press over there as well. We like, cool, press, no problem, we'll do it. They also wanted Ninth to come. We were like, no. By this time, you know, Flash is our full-time touring DJ. Ninth is not in the picture at all.
So they said, we'd really love to have him there because it's, you know, y'all promoting the album. And we was like, okay, well, if y'all want him there, y'all fly him there. So they said, we'll fly him out there, fine. We get to London, Ninth shows up with his wife. And I was a little perturbed by that. You came out here with your wife, like y'all on vacation. Nobody else got their loved ones out here. This ain't a vacation for us. This work.
On tour, it was Pooh, Tay, and DJ Flash. In business meetings, it's Pooh, Tay, and Big Doe. Crisis is pretty much our full-time engineer. So Crisis is in the studio actually doing those records with me and Pooh. But when it came time for us to push the product in terms of who Little Brother was, it was a thing of Little Brother is Tay, Pooh, and Ninth. You look at the Minstrel Show album, it's Tay, Pooh, and Ninth, but if you went and saw us live, that wasn't what the fuck it was. You know what I'm saying? If you saw us anywhere other than that fucking album cover, you wasn't gonna see that. And so it's like, okay, where are you showing up in this equation other than just sending beats? Where do you show up in the group? Where do you show up in the Brotherhood?
There were posters when we got to certain cities that just had his fucking face on the flyer. And it was like Little Brother performing tonight, and it would be just his face. There were promoters who were threatening not to pay us because he wasn't there, and it was like, I paid for Little Brother, and the biggest name in Little Brother isn't here. So we fought through all that for like a year and a half to build up to where it was like, okay, these two dudes come in, they rocking this Little Brother, right? We still get Little Brother. So our mindset was, if you pop up at this London show, promoters talk. They're gonna be like, why was he at that London show, but he wasn't at this Paris show or this Berlin show or this fucking God knows where else we was at show? Like, what's up with that?
You can't just be in when you want to be in and out when you want to be out. Like, none of us have that luxury. That's not what being in a group is. Like, why are we trying to keep this lie alive?
And so the night of the show, Phonte, Doe, and I have a discussion. And we like, Ninth can't come to the show. And the reasoning was, dude, you can't just come and be a spectator. They're gonna have an expectation of you being behind them tables. You're not a part of our show anymore. So then it came to, okay, who gonna tell them? I said, shit, I'll tell them.
That was a bad idea. I was saying it was a bad idea to let Pooh have that conversation.
I don't think Ninth ever respected me as a peer. So to hear certain things from me felt disrespectful to him. I'm like, look, man, me, Tay, and Doe talk. Your ass can't come in that building and people not know you're in that building. It's not a big building. You're gonna fuck it up for the rest of our tour if you pop up at this show. Now you're fucking with our money. And he was like, man, so I flew all the way out here and, you know, I got my wife out here. I was like, nigga, we didn't ask you to come out here. Atlantic did. We didn't want you out here. Atlantic did. Nobody told you bring your wife out here. You did. I think it went left right there.
And so he ended up not coming to that show that night.
I think London solidified whatever wasn't solidified.
We on the bus. Ain't nobody fucking with us right now. Come on, Tay.
And up next to rhyme is Phonte. I figure it's time to exercise. You whack niggas have them. And up next to rhyme is Phonte. I figure it's time to exercise. You whack niggas have them running for the exit sign. Cause every time I spit, it's like I'm testifying to my J-League fam. I really think it's
with the Minstrel Show, I think a lot of people got the idea that we was just on some holier than thou, backpack, you know, finger wagging kind of shit. And the thing was, with the Minstrel Show, for me, it was never about I'm better than you. It was never that at all. I'm not saying I'm better than you. I'm just saying I rap better than you. That was what it was. And so getting the Gangsta Grillz, they didn't expect to see this backpack group with someone so, you know, in the streets like Drum was. But Drum was a guy that he knew good music.
I really wanted to shine a light on what the South had to offer. Gangsta Grillz was that platform for quality street music. So yeah, I was right in the mix of, you know, this South mixtape boom.
Coming from the South, I mean, it was the biggest thing. Like, it was amazing.
For us, that was a big opportunity. It was like, oh shit, like, you know, of course, Drum did the Wayne, the Jeezy, and it was like, yo, we're competing with these guys, so we gotta come with our A++ game.
I think when it comes to Gangsta Grillz and how we can now talk about it, how important the series is to just hip hop in general. There are two tapes that at the time were very crucial to the history of Gangsta Grillz. One being the Pharrell In My Mind prequel, and the other one being Little Brother Separate But Equal. You know, the title Separate But Equal is so powerful and so strong when it comes to the project and what we were doing with it. You know, them being from the South, them not being categorized with trap music or the artists that were coming out of the South, but hip hop is so multifaceted. Now looking back on the 150 plus tapes I've done with so many various artists from all across the board, all that started because of the Little Brother Gangsta Grillz and the Pharrell Gangsta Grillz.
When we started working on Get Back, I think we wanted to take some of that energy that we had with Gangsta Grillz and incorporate it into an album. We go up to Atlanta to play him some of the record. It was me, Tay Doe, Craig Coleman, James Lopez, Julie Greenwald. The album went complete, but we're playing them records. And then all of a sudden, Julie Greenwald says,
I think you guys are talented, you know, you're great, you're funny, like all that. She said, but look, sometimes these things just don't work. And she said, if you guys really want to be out of your contracts, I don't believe in keeping hostages.
So if y'all ain't happy here and y'all feel like this is the place for y'all, then we'll let y'all go. We got home. That's when we officially announced Ninth One in the group.
And we were out of our deal within like 3-4 months after that. From where I sit, you know, they signed us. We took a record that we made on our own with our people, made it exactly the way we want to fucking make it, presented to them. They put it out as is, no changes, cleared every sample, no nothing, you know what I mean? And they took a chance on it. And when it didn't work out, they let us go. Any artist signed to a major label in 2023, they would kill to have that fucking story.
You know, all the stuff that's happened to Little Brother along the way, not with just this album, but from the beginning of the Little Brother stages, like, I don't let it stop me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a bigger picture, it's a bigger goal that I got in my mind that I'm trying to see come to life. So I don't let it stop me because I got that love in my heart.
By the time we get to Get Back, Tay is done with major labels. He's done with labels, period.
We were signed to ABB for 3 records. We decided to just put the last album out on ABB because it was just kind of the path of least resistance. And so for me, Get Back, I knew in my mind right then, this is the last time a label ever gonna eat off my black ass. Fuck these niggas. I was just like, listen, dude, we put out a record on every kind of label you can put one out on, and we're still doing all the fucking work. Fuck a record deal.
Man, I don't know what the fuck you talking about. I know it's labels still out there trying to sign us, even though we off Atlanta. I held out hope that there was a right fit out there for us. And Tay didn't give a shit. He felt the right fit was doing it yourself. So we had a disconnect because he had an experience already where he realized, yo, we can do this ourselves.
I've never been signed to a major label. You know, I have no idea what that is like. I saw it from a distance, but I think it became clear to us that for the foreign exchange, it would really require something that is truly homegrown and organic. I got to know Phonte as a character on Okayplayer, first and foremost. I knew he sang. I knew that was very impressive to me. Like, he was obviously a great MC, but he also sang, like, he wasn't afraid to do that. And so it was like, there was something about him that seemed like he was going to do incredible things.
So one day he was like, yo, this is a new track by me. And he put up a beat.
And this was like literally 20 years ago. This was February of 2002.
I played it, I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? Like, this shit is amazing, you know what I mean? So I reached out to him and I was like, yo, bro, would you mind me doing something over these?
That was a life-changing moment for me. And it was, to me, just kind of really surreal because I'm from a small town in the Netherlands, medium size.
He, at the time, was living in the Netherlands, and we just started emailing tracks back and forth.
It started with 2 tracks, and then it became 4 tracks, and then it became 6. And
by the time 2004 came along, we had an album, and we put that album out on BBE. They did right by us, it was cool. So 2008 is coming around. BBE comes back with a deal. And so I was looking at it and I was like, all right, this deal is fine. I know they'll honor it. But I sat with Nick, I said, yo, man, what if we just did this ourselves, bro? And my first statement for the first month of Sales of Leave It All Behind, our first statement was like 25 grand. That 7-year deal, we made that shit in a month. That was it for me.
The song that we're nominated for a Grammy for is Daykeeper. We did the track.
When I found out we were nominated for a Grammy, I was so surprised and so excited. Like, I didn't even know we were in the voting for nomination, so I was super excited.
It was never validation of my art. It was more so, for me, it was validation on the business. Our crew, we ran this shit up to the fucking Grammys. There was nothing else to talk about after that.
I couldn't see what he saw because I didn't share that experience. So he's trying to explain it to me, but I don't think he really could explain it in a way that I was going to understand.
That was really frustrating for me. Knowing the talent that we had and knowing how hard we had been working on trying to get everything together, and it just felt like, man, like, why you keep putting your faith in these labels? Like, why are you scared to bet on yourself?
Just as he probably was frustrated with me, I was frustrated with him. Like, bro, we got these motherfuckers willing to give us another opportunity at this major label thing, and you don't want to do it, and I don't know where your head at right now. Like, that was when we really started to fall apart. When Knife was out of the group, decision-making failed to not just me and him, but now you insert Doe.
So now you have 2 creative people and a business person. I just remember, like, trying to have conversations with him and Doe and just being like, bro, like, we don't need these niggas, dog. Like, we can do this ourselves. We can do whatever. And so, you know, Pooh and Doe at the time were spending a lot of time together, and things really shifted.
He believed that me and Doe were running like lock and step, because me and Doe was spending a lot of time together. Like, we had more interests in common, so we would talk every day. We would hang out all the time.
We had built a kinship. Like, a real brotherhood outside of that, because we was really together like all the fucking time, like every day. We talked every day. We saw each other dinner every day. So it's different. But me and him had it out plenty of times. But that's how I knew it was a real brotherhood with him, because we'd have it out, but we'd be good. And that to me is brotherhood. Like, I should be able to have an issue with you or something you said, did, whatever, and we talk about that issue and we get past it. That's just, to me, that's just what it is.
I was just so tired of like us putting out records and like us not getting paid for it. Like, fuck that shit, you know what I mean? Like, fuck a label, like, no. And I just began to feel just, I didn't really have a place in it anymore.
He was kind of like the outcast on tour. He wasn't talking to nobody.
And I remember Doe just stopped booking interviews after a while. He was like, yo, y'all body language is terrible. We're not having fun. We're sitting kind of like angled away from each other and shit. And it was bad. We weren't even really talking. We only spoke when it was necessary.
I think it was just a thing. It was just, you know, everybody was kind of over shit.
It was an endless cycle. It was record, tour, US, tour, Europe, record, tour, US, tour, Europe, record, tour, US, tour. Like, that was the cycle. And we were fucking tired, man. And I don't think we knew how to tell each other we needed a break. Tay was like, yo, so we finished this tour. I know you're gonna still be on the road. When I get home, I'm gonna start working on the next Little Brother record, and I'll send you ideas, and then when you get home, obviously we can finish up records. And I looked at him dead in his face. I was like, nah. When I get home, I wanna work on the next Pooh record. And I think at that point, that was the window for him to be like, okay,
I ain't doing this no more. Like, I'm done. Like, this LB shit, like, I'm done with it all. Like, I'm done.
I was like, oh shit, okay. Like, what? Little Brother was over.
What makes it so hard to stay together in the music industry? I think learning to decipher your voice from the voices of the 20 other people that want to say so and how your life is gonna go. I think that's the hardest thing, you know what I mean? It's like learning to decipher, okay, what do I want for me versus what does the label want for me? What does my manager want? What do my mama want? What does my wife want? What does Pooh want? Nah, what do I want just for me?
There was no direction for me. I didn't know what was gonna happen. I didn't know what I was gonna do. That had been my life. Even though I was doing my solo shit, that was my life. But in true Pooh fashion, I said, okay, let me try to tuck this shit as best I can and soldier forward.
Seeing such a phenomenal group dissipate because we didn't know how, as a group, or specifically Little Brother, didn't know how to communicate or settle differences, and you know, the entire team for that matter, you know, just seeing all of that just fizzle out was hard to watch. Yeah, hard to watch.
What's going on, everybody? It is a Saturday afternoon in beautiful North Carolina.
Ninth one day got on Twitter and somebody asked like what happened or something, and I think I replied to it. And so he comes back and Ninth said, oh, if only people, knew the real story.
You know what I'm saying? The people knew the real story, you know, they if only they knew.
And so for me, it was like, all right.
Well, nigga, either tell your side of the story or shut the fuck up talking about it.
I'm still a work in progress, you know what I mean? But that was how the fuck I felt, you know what I mean? Like, it was just like, dude, again, halfway, that half in, half out shit. Like, nigga, if you gonna take the high road,
stay all the way on the high road. That mean no trying to plead your case to little, like the fans on Twitter or to other little artist niggas, like when Questlove said the shit, you know, well, I ain't the one you need to talk about a little brother reunion. Nah, that ain't the high road. That's the bitch road.
I guess a couple months after that, me and a mutual friend of ours driving back one night, he was like, yo, man, Knife said, you know, would you be willing to talk if you want to talk? I said, man, absolutely. We can talk. So Knife calls me and we talk for like 4 hours. And he said, the thing about you, he said, I always respected you because I always knew where you stood. He said, if you don't fuck with somebody, you don't fuck with them, and that's the fucking end of it. He said, you know, man, Pooh and Doe, that wasn't the case with them. He said, it was a lot of times that they was coming over to my studio kind of trying to play both sides, and I really took offense to that.
Because I had vented some of my frustrations to Ninth about him, he felt that was a betrayal of sorts. Like, not what I was saying, it's who I was saying it to.
I just felt like, bro, I was fucking with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, we was all in the foxhole together. It was us damn sweating our fucking shirts out and losing our voices and being away from our family and shit. Like, how you gonna talk about family business to a nigga that ain't even in the family? Like, that shit fucked with me. Like, in a real fucking way.
In 2013, I just did some records with Slum Village, and I was spending a couple days with Slum, staying at Young RJ crib, and I remember I wasn't feeling right, like I was limping. I thought I had strained a muscle in my calf, because at that time, like I had lost like 60, 65 pounds. I was jogging every day. I thought I just strained my calf jogging. So I didn't really think too much of it. Young RJ, his house, it was like three flights, and we was in the basement recording, and I go up to the top to go to my room. And I almost passed out, like I couldn't breathe. I go to urgent care, and the lady, she feel my leg, she see it, it's puffed up, and she sent me straight to the ER. And apparently I had a blood clot that broke off in my left calf, traveled up, and got into my lungs, which caused a pulmonary embolism. Next spot was the brain. Yo, another couple days, I could have been out of here. Ninth found out I was in the hospital. He ended up reaching out just to see how I was doing, see if I was okay. Didn't hear from Tay.
I didn't think it was important. I didn't think he cared. I didn't think it mattered. You know, I didn't really feel that at that time, me and Pooh really liked each other. You know what I mean? Things that ended with us, you know, really sad and really like, it was really fractured and it was just sad. And I was very angry.
I know we ain't talking. I know we ain't, you know, seeing eye to eye, whatever. But if I was really your brother, if we was really as cool and tight as we said we were, I mean, shit, Knife reached out, right? At least I could have got a text or something. Like, yo, I heard, you know, what happened. You good? Yeah, I'm good. All right, cool. And then you ain't had to talk to me again. Like, it went from more than just us not speaking because of whatever differences we had. That's when I really dug in, like, fuck it. It was a sort of calm desperation that I had.
He was at a vulnerable space at that time, but I didn't see vulnerability in that. I saw someone who was ready to go and get it, and he just needed a little bit of support, right? He would say I'm his mentor, I've been in the industry 26 years. This year's my 26th year. I've been around a long time. I'm a dinosaur. but Pooh would say I'm his mentor, but I would say that we're comrades. Once you reach a certain level, it's not about mentorship. It's a sharing of ideas. I met him when he was probably at a point where he was still trying to figure it out, right? He was rebooting his career, and the first thing I told him is, man, I'm gonna be in your corner until you get back where you belong. You don't belong here trying to figure it out. You belong around a team of people who believe in what you do and what you have to add, the value that you provide to this industry. And we're not gonna stop until you get back to where you belong.
You can see that what was happening in his career, in Little Brother's, the breakup, everything wore on him. So he was looking for that new thing, that next thing, and Pooh knows talent.
Right here, like, real recognized real, no matter where you from, no matter where you at. Niggas from all the way from North Carolina come out here rocking with niggas from the West Coast all day, every day, anytime. This is what it is, man. It's real.
That's humble. It's real.
It's real.
That's real.
Long term, too.
At some point, you got to get out the way and stop trying to be the guy. And you got to develop the guy. You got to share that information. That's how we change the next generation, how we keep the art form alive. And once I explain it to him, like, man, success comes by you giving, right? You're giving the information, you're giving them your time, you're giving them your expertise. Now you just set yourself up to be around this industry for another 10, 15 years because you developed somebody else.
I met Pooh in 2012. Like, it's very rare you meet people where you're like, yo, I can learn from that guy. And that's how I felt when I first met him. Like, I feel like he had a lot to show me, because at that time I was very, like, eager to learn, like, what the game had in store for me, or what the game has to offer in general. No pun intended, but he felt like a brother to me. He just felt like a brother to me because he was always open about his trials and the things that he went through in the game, and giving me game to make sure I don't either make those same mistakes, or if I do, to learn from them. Because I was always told, you got a better chance winning a lottery than being a signed artist or making it out of North Carolina. So they're the ones that basically started the groundwork for what North Carolina hip hop is, in my eyes.
Sometimes I compare like LB to, it's like having a microphone in your hand and you just are just talking into the mic, whatever, just saying, doing whatever, doing what you normally do. But you didn't realize that mic was live. So you turn around and now it is 1 million people, like, and it's like, oh shit, I didn't even know y'all was, I didn't even know y'all motherfuckers was listening.
To say I'm a Little Brother fan would be an understatement. To say I'm a Ninth Wonder fan would be an extreme understatement. And to say that Phonte is a good rapper would be offensive to me, because he's probably one of the best rappers of all time, in my opinion.
Their DNA is still through the game in a lot of ways. I mean, arguably one of the biggest rappers of all time was one of the biggest Little Brother fans. You can never take that for granted.
Tribe, De La, D'Angelo, Erykah Badu, they're part of that family tree. And they're gonna be influences to a new generation of folks as well. I think I saw recently Pooh posted a video from Doja Cat. And she was talking about Little Brother.
Maybe we can go out.
I don't care what anybody says, that's one of the best verses ever.
And that made me so excited. I'm like, that album is 17 years old. And she was talking about the listening.
I think the legacy of Little Brother, aside from numbers or anything else, were that they were the bridge for hip hop into where we are at now. And because of them, that modicum of what we loved about hip hop is still present today, because people had somebody to look up to who were carrying that torch.
When I heard Little Brother, the thing that really hit home was the fact that, like, yo, they just real. Terra firma, down to earth, they're real.
The early superstars of rap, you know, your LLs, your Run DMC, like, again, that was like Iron Man and Captain America, some shit. Like, that was just, they were like larger than life. I can't do that. You know, I'm like, that wasn't me. I just wasn't that kid. So it wasn't until Native Tongues, seeing Tribe, De La, Jungle, all of that stuff, like, that was where I finally saw, I was like, okay, this is me. I can do this, because to me, this just looks like they're being themselves. And I'm like, all right, I can be myself.
In 2016, sitting in my living room, learning Fife passed away.
You know, when Luther Vandross died or something, it was like, I mean, I love Luther, but that was my mother's artist. Like, Fife was ours.
I had a relationship with Fife, and we just had a conversation, and then the next thing I hear, he's not here anymore. And it made me think about my own situation. And then I started thinking about what I was holding on to as far as me and Tay.
I was just like, yo, like, this is really making me think about Pooh. Like, I feel like I want to reach out to him, you know what I mean? But I was like, you know what, let me just finish this song right now. Like, let me get back to work. I'll come back to this feeling later.
And so I was like, you know what? Even if we don't speak, I'm still gonna reach out and let him know that I love him.
I ended up getting a text from Pooh. And he just texted me and he was like, yo, just wanna let you know, man, no matter what, you my brother, I love you. Let's get on the horn and talk whenever you got time, whatever. And I hit him back immediately. I was like, hey, yo, bro, let's do it. I love you too, man. Like, let's get on the horn, let's talk. And we got on the horn, I think later that day, like immediately. And yeah, we was on the horn for like 5 hours, just going through everything, you know what I mean? Talking about everything, like everything. I started to see just how much we really meant to each other. And I think it just took 5 years for us to grow up and see that.
Remember, I'm a compartmentalizer. I'm a person that pushed forward. But I didn't know how much I missed having him in my life.
In a weird way, I think that the conflict saved them from the worst parts of what celebrity and industry could have done to them. It forced them to retreat to their corners, to go do the growing up and the changing and the reflection that wouldn't have happened. And listen, getting old and maturing are two different things. You get old just by not dying. Maturing is a choice. And I have been deeply proud of him as somebody who loves him to watch him choose.
The thing I'm most proud about in that time was that we did not immediately jump back into making records. We totally focused on, we gotta get to know each other. And for like the next 2 years, we would just talk, we would just kind of be here and there, really just becoming friends. And I can't even say becoming friends again, really becoming friends. I came to understand that Pooh, I didn't really know how just painfully shy Pooh was and how really anxious, like for him, even the thought of signing a record deal was never on his radar. The thought of having a career in music was not on his radar. So trying to talk to this guy about a better business model in which to pursue a career that he never had any intention of doing, I mean, that was a lot to fucking ask a person.
You would think most guys that's in the music industry for a living are gonna be loud, outgoing, extroverts. And I'm the total opposite of all of that. I had to learn to be okay with that and still have a confidence, because I thought something was wrong with me. Now I don't give a fuck. I am who I am. I have the relationships I have within this industry because I am who I am. And as long as my name's solid, I'm good.
This street named after my grandfather, who did a lot of work in the neighborhood, trying to help clean the neighborhood up. Yeah, and this is who I'm named after. I'm super proud of this. This is why I feel my legacy isn't written yet.
2018 comes around, all the cool festivals here.
Take calls. Royce da 5'9" didn't make his flight. Suleiman hit me about doing a solo set. And I'm thinking, this Durham Bull Stadium, the place of probably our most iconic press photo, maybe this should be a little brother joint. I'm like, y'all serious?
If you're gonna bring LB back, this is how you do it. You don't announce a show and say, hey, we're going on tour with 10 dates and whatever. Nah, 8 o'clock, nigga, we on stage, pull up. That's a fucking moment.
Even though that had been the first time Tay and I had been on stage together since 2010, that was the first time all three of us was on the same stage since like 2003. Once the music started, felt like riding a bike, man.
You and Phonte, I know everybody always asks you guys, when are you guys gonna do a reunion? But have you all been...
Yeah, Ninth Wonder.
Yeah, Ninth Wonder, of course, Ninth Wonder.
No little brother without Ninth Wonder. It's gotta be all three.
So is that possibly something?
I don't know. We gotta have those conversations. We did a show for the first time, all three of us in 13 years.
I set Ninth Wonder up. I texted him and said, word, y'all recording the Sneaky Little Brother album, huh?
Okay.
Who just spilled the beans?
And he gonna be like, you're lying.
After that show, I come over to Tay house. I come to get paid. And he just looked at me and said, hey man, depending on how you feel, I think we can talk about another album. And I said, let's talk about it.
We wanted Ninth involved. So Ninth agrees. He's like, yeah, man, I want to be a part of it. I want to be a part of everything. I want to be here for all of it, da-da-da-da-da. We're like, okay, cool. So we start recording. We get into a couple records and we hit a wall.
We got to spend some time around each other to relearn each other. Tay and I understood that. I don't think Ninth really understood that. He was just sending beats over. And even in that, it was like you're sending beats without really understanding where we are musically at this point and where we're trying to go. And you're not even willing to be in a room with us so we can figure that out together. Which led to us having a conversation about if he could stand behind a Little Brother album if he didn't produce the whole album.
Ninth saw it as it's not Little Brother if I'm not producing all of the tracks, you know what I mean? And once we brought up the notion of incorporating other producers, then it became, oh, well, what if, I just do the festivals and Flash do the regular shows and like all this half-ass shit. It was like, dude, just don't even worry about it. We're not doing this shit again. Me and Ninth were on the phone. We're talking through all of this shit and he's essentially like leaving the group. And I'm like, okay, man, well, cool, I get it. Let me get Pooh on the horn and try to talk whatever.
The excuse he gave to Tay was, I'm gonna call Pooh and have my own discussion with him about that. To this day, he has not called me to have a discussion. Like, you don't even have enough respect for me to have a conversation with me about our group. What am I supposed to do with that?
You are watching UBA.
For me, when it comes to Ninth, my final word on it, I am forever grateful and thankful for the way that our lives collided. And I mean that just in the most pure way. It was truly a collision. This was a guy I just ran into in the dorm, and we ended up changing each other's lives forever. And I will always have love and respect for that. I always have love and respect for him for the way we changed each other's lives. And for me, that's enough.
Yeah. Black skin, black faces, black people make black magic.
We were shooting the Black Magic video. And at midnight that night, Made a Little Watch was coming out.
3 hours and 56 minutes till midnight.
Made a Little Watch. So after the video finishes, we at a hotel in Durham. We sit down there with champagne and it's getting close to 12. 12 hit. Album drops. We toast. And we're literally in the lobby on our phones looking at live reactions to our album. Reading live reactions to our album. Our general audience is, we in our 40s now. Goddamn kids and soccer practice and games and shit on Saturday. Like, we had no idea what that was gonna mean for us. And to see that type of reception, man, that shit to bring grown man to his knees, man. Cause
who would have thought that y'all would still be listening 20 years later?
And it got to a point in the night when me and Tate looked up and realized like we were the only two in the lobby. We both were just smiling, man, and we gave each other a hug and told each other we loved each other. And because I don't know if either one of us ever thought we would be back. And then we hit #1 on Apple Music, all genres.
They've been consistent. They've been consistent with being creative. They've been consistent with being feeders of substance to this world.
Completely unexpected masterwork. Like, masterwork. That album was just as much relevant to me in 2019 when it came out as the Minstrel Show and the Listening were to me in 2004, 2005. Completely different eras in my life, spoke equally to both, and it was also a reconception of their brotherhood.
I just knew that was gonna be a big year for us. We had dates already lined up. We was going to Europe. After all this time, for us to come back, make the plans we made, be in the best place as a group and as friends, and then the world stops.
Coronavirus officially hitting the U.S. Here's what we know. A Washington State resident fell ill after returning from Wuhan, China.
And that was some very gut-wrenching, disappointing shit.
For me, I looked at COVID as God calling everybody bets in. Whatever you got in your hand, you gotta play that shit. Ain't no bluffing your way off the, nah, nigga, deal. And so it was a lot of things that I hadn't dealt with. My therapist told me that parents who were abused as children, when their kids become the age that they were when they were abused, it's a trigger. So from the time that I was 6 up until the time that I was maybe like 11, 12, I was sexually abused at the hands of an older child, and it was a girl. And I didn't understand just how much I was carrying and how very closed off it made me. And it helped me to see that, you know, I had people in my life that I loved, but there was really no one I had let in. That just kind of set me on a path of making peace with all the stuff from like my childhood, and I had a conversation with my boys. I sat down and, you know, told them like, this is what made me, these are the parts of my story The parts that y'all think apply to y'all, cool. If y'all think it's horseshit, cool, throw it out. It may not apply. But either way, this is the story. And that was the hardest part, I think. The biggest challenge of my life was just learning to open up and learning to trust and learning to share. My first time talking about it and talking about it out loud, I was with Pooh.
He was the only one that could understand certain things. Just having that other person that knows exactly what you've been through. That's powerful.
You know, when we got dropped from Atlantic, very much felt like we had been left for dead, you know what I'm saying? Like that, you know, that no one cared. And what I didn't understand back then was that the game is not gonna care. But fuck the game. If you at a city and it's 100 motherfuckers that came and left their house to come see your ass, rock them 100 people. You know what I'm saying? Because them 100 people will never forget that night. The game gonna forget you soon as the next new piece hit the street. The people that you showed up and did your fucking job for, they gonna keep coming back. So serve them. Let the game come when it come and you get your money and then tell the game to get the fuck on. Fuck with the people. That was something that I did not get at 25. I thought that the Minstrel Show and all of that, I thought that was the ending. And I didn't realize that it was just the beginning.
Y'all still having a good time? Let me hear you say hell yeah. If y'all still having a great time, let me hear you say hell yeah.
Yes, listen. Thank you for being here. It's been a journey, and I hope that if you learn anything from my journey, man, if we can get through our shit and come through and do this right here today, then anything is possible, nigga, for real.
Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for giving us health, giving us strength. We thank you for keeping our health over these past few years, God, and protecting us throughout this pandemic and keeping us all safe. We ask that you bless this meal, bless this brotherhood, bless these years of music, of everything, and just thank you for just allowing us to be here, sitting with each other today as brothers and enjoying ourselves. All these things in your name we pray. Amen.
Bro, all this shit is divine timing. Like, how me and Tay ended up meeting Dunny, meeting you. The fact that I even ended up in fucking North Carolina in the first place.
Right. When I got down here, Tay took me to cookout. The first thing Tay said to me, he was like, hey man, these shakes are gonna change your life. And I was like, what you talking about, shakes?
Bro.
And we pulled up and I saw that list and I was like, yo, all right, I'll try the strawberry cheesecake shake. That was summer 99 or summer 2000. I've been getting that damn shake for over 20 years.
I didn't realize until like talking to people that had been working kind of quote unquote real jobs, so to speak, how much of a blessing it was and how much most people don't get to actually work with their friends. Like that was something that, you know.
Yeah. But that's the dope shit, dude. 20 years later, being closer now than we are 20 years before. That's the ill shit.
Okay. Strawberry banana pudding.
I think just the fact that they have come full circle, that the circle was broken, and now that the circle has been healed, that they are both better men for it. And so sometimes we have to look at ourselves And so I think that when we come face to face with ourselves and we face our demons and we accept our faults and acknowledge them, then we are able to listen to the other person and to take into consideration what they felt and what was going on in their lives. You have to grow and be able to acknowledge the part that you played in the demise of the relationship. And so, like, once you acknowledge that and you recognize that, then I think that you can come together and you can communicate calmly and you can put things back together.
All right, I ain't coming back to this motherfucker no more.
Nah, I don't think we'll come back to this shit, nigga, bro.
Nah,
we saw it. We good.
Yeah,
All right.
good.
All right. Love you, bro.
Love you too.
Just like that, you're a movie star.
Right.
You know, when you get 96 years old, you can't remember too much.
It's a lot to remember.
Well, it is.
Yeah. Wake up in the morning and I'm praying, work through me, Lord. Back in the day, we used to rock it at the Troubadour. Big dough, Flash, Dunny, Rapper Pooh, and Truly Yours in the land of movie stars. Out with my whole team, take a flight out to New Orleans and hit Mike's for a fresh bowl of catfish couillon. No cap, bitch, prove me wrong. Keep it slapping on the 2 and 4. This is what we're moving towards. Wake up in the morning and I'm praying, work through me, Lord. If my life is a movie, then this will be the score. Always gotta leave them wanting more. Firmly planted when you trying to soar. Niggas all types of sore. They don't never see the work, only results of it. Get knocked down just to rise above it. To get knocked down again cause somebody covet material things that don't mean nothing. Me and my brother used to dream that I would be something. So when me and Tay hit the stage, it ain't just for the accolades. So sorry to aggravate. I just wanna be the man my mama and my grandma raised. Literary bars that my grandma raised. Crowds fall out like gamma rays. When me and Pooh connect like Wonder Twins activate. So have a drink, settle down. I knew you were bored. And silence your phones cause now your favorite movie's on. Wake up in the morning and I'm praying, work through me, Lord. Back in the day we used to rock it at the Troubadour. Big dough, Flash, Scudder, Phonte, and Truly Yours. We undefeated but who keep a score? When the light ain't shining like it used to, I say merci beaucoup. You waiting on that breakthrough. When the truth is you lacking discipline. We talk about dope, I need mentioning. Mind your positioning. Wake up in the morning and I'm hold up, I'm envisioning a 2-man alliance that'll silence all the dissonance. Past the Tigolo, spot the difference. Boom baptism, it's a christening. You already know it's showtime when my company flow just like Mistolin. Throw me off my game, I just smile, tell them do your best. Scratch that, go fish, nigga, boo your best. Y'all do the rest, I just do the fool. I spit royalty, cause there's no loyalty. You niggas ride with everybody. Rap gang, Uber Pool. Damn near 20 years, thought you knew the rules. But if you never knew before, then you should be warned. This high is going down anytime we press record. Wake up in the morning and I'm praying, work through me, Lord. Work through me, Lord. Work through me, Lord.
Lord, we thank you for bringing us here today. We thank you for this fellowship. We thank you for keeping us healthy, keeping us safe. We thank you for your mercy. We ask that you continue to watch over us, you continue to bless us, you continue to guide us. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.